Bandera Mountain is 8 miles round trip, elevation gain of 3,400 feet, highest point is 5,240 feet, and it's rated as a hard hike, which you wouldn't think it is at the beginning. It starts out just following an old logging road. The grade is fairly easy and the path is nice and wide and well maintained. It's a pretty good trail when you get started out. And then the path leaves the old logging road and starts uphill. And although this is steeper and a little harder, it's not the hard part. On the way up the mountain, all was gray and green, which is fine with me, and that's one of the things I enjoy about hiking in the Western Cascades. At this point I was beginning to wonder, is this the hard part? Still seems pretty moderate, with a little bit of hard. I was to be surprised a little bit later when I discovered what hard really meant on Bandera Mountain. At this juncture you go left to Mason Lake or right to Bandera Mountain. This is where hard really begins. At this point you're gaining 1 foot of elevation for every 2 feet you go forward. Sure seems like it's the other way around though. You see those hiking poles I'm relying on to get me up that mountain? Well, unfortunately, they broke on the way back down. More on that later. I had gained a lot of elevation, but still no sunshine. I was still working my way up through the clouds. Finally, I broke through the clouds, out of the gray and into the sunshine. And the view, well, it made it worth all that work and effort. That's Mount Rainier seeming to float on top of the clouds. Beautiful, isn't it? I'd made it quite a ways up and I was enjoying a fantastic view, but I wasn't done yet. I was heading for the peak and that's where I was going. Eventually the trail sort of levels out and you arrive at Little Bandera Peak. Now this is a false peak. What you want to do is move on to the final peak. It's a little bit tricky and you have to do a little bit of bushwhacking to get there, but it's worth it. Made it, and look at that view. Lunch was some top ramen with some chicken leftovers tossed in, but as far as I was concerned, that was a 4-star meal at a 4-star restaurant. Could have stayed there all afternoon, but I was starting to get sunburned. Yeah, I forgot the sunscreen. So I decided it was time to pack up and head home. I always check around after I've had lunch when I'm out hiking to make sure I've not left any litter laying around. And everything looks clean, so it's time to have one last view of Mount Rainier and head on home. It was right after filming this part that both my hiking poles broke at the same time. Fortunately, I met Eric, Pat, and Barley, and Eric loaned me his hiking poles, which helped me get down the mountain safely. I really appreciate your generosity and companionship that day, guys. Thanks much.